Hello and welcome to week 10. We are starting a great effort this week, and that is the final project for this semester. Now we broke up the final project effort over several weeks to make it more manageable. So for this week, we just have the proposal of the final project that will be due, and I'll talk about that more in a moment. Then next week, you will be asked to create an MVP, which stands for Minimum Viable Product. This simply means having a running application without any errors and with only the key and core components of the solution, but not necessarily including all the bells and whistles. So a good running app, but without the full features. Then the following week, you will share your application code with the class to be reviewed. You see, part of best programming practices is to have your code reviewed by others to ensure all looks good and to identify any issues or suggest improvements. And just like having your code reviewed, you also need to review your classmates' code. And so with all that code review feedback, you will then submit your very final project code the week after that. Then, in the final week of class, a presentation of your final project is due. This is the time to show off your final product with the class, and it's a well-deserved effort, so brag as much as you like. Alright, so that's the final project explained in a few seconds. I think that breaking this effort up over several weeks will allow you ample time to complete the different parts of the final project. So, divide and conquer, right? Now, in my humble opinion, the planning phase of any project is the most important phase. So we do need to spend ample time planning our final project, and once we are satisfied with the plan, then we can go ahead and execute this plan. Now, our assignment this week is to submit our final project proposal. And this proposal will ask you to submit two pieces, a design brief where you will describe your solution, and also a pseudocode of your solution. Both of these need to be in a single Microsoft Word document, which is what you need to submit. Alright, so the details of what's due this week is your design brief, which should be around 100 to 250 words long. You should describe what the application is about, what problem it solves, and who are your main target users. I also want you to review the rubric for this assignment because it will help you to better understand what needs to be included. Now, for this project proposal, I want more than just a two-line document where you just state the problem and solution. So please review the rubric. Then the second half of this project proposal is to write the pseudocode for your application. And please remember, both the design brief and the pseudocode need to be in one Word document. Now, when it comes to ideas for your final project, the options are pretty much open. I do suggest you think about a topic that you are passionate about and create a small application around it. And if you can't think of an idea for your final project, that's certainly okay. We provided you with different topics and ideas in the assignment page from last week. You can also search online, for example, just search for a phrase like Python applications for beginners. Also, please do keep in mind the scope of the application. So please make sure you can design, build, and test the application so you can submit it by the end of the semester. Now, I'm sure you will have questions regarding this final project. So please reach out to me via email or the Canvas inbox or the Q&A forum, and I'll be more than happy to answer all your questions and provide any needed assistance. Alright, so I'll share with you now an example of what you need to submit for this week's final project proposal. Again, it needs to be a design brief and pseudocode all in one Microsoft Word document. So I came up with the idea of a simple educational quiz application that tests users on different educational topics. As you can see in my design brief here, I wrote the following. This project will create a basic educational chatbot with predetermined topics related to subjects like history, math, science, or language learning. The chatbot will offer users a list of specific topics to choose from. Once a topic is selected, the chatbot will ask predetermined questions and check the user's answers against correct, predefined responses. The goal is to create a straightforward tool for beginner learners to practice their knowledge in a structured format. This project is aimed at beginner-level users, providing a simple, interactive way to review subject material and reinforce learning through instant feedback. So in this description, I clearly stated what problem the application will solve and who are my main users and what the application will do. I then follow this part with a simple example of the expected user interaction and experience. So here you can see that my chatbot is welcoming the user and providing a list of menu options. Then the user chooses an option, then a question is presented, and the user answers it correctly. This is just how I envisioned the application to run. Again, we are just in the planning phase, and I didn't write any code yet. And speaking of code, the second part of this assignment is to create the pseudocode for your application. Now, in my pseudocode, I have multiple functions, which is a good way to modularize the code. Then at the very bottom, I have the main function call to kick off the application. So I call the chatbot interface function, which is all the way up here. This function basically will display a greeting message, then prompt the user with 3 different topics: World War II, algebra basics, and French vocabulary. If the user selects topic 1, then we do a function call to the World War II quiz function. If the user selects topic 2, we call the algebra quiz function. And if the user selects option 3, then we call the French quiz function. And each function is defined here as well using pseudocode. For example, if the user chooses option 1, then we call the World War II quiz function, which starts off by asking, when did World War II start? If the user enters 1939, then we display the word correct, followed by an exclamation mark. But if the user enters a wrong answer, then we output the message incorrect. The correct answer is 1939. So as you can see, I am planning my application through pseudocode before I translate it to syntax code. And you can see that I am using functions, loops, and conditionals, which are all skills we learned about this semester. And you can also see that I completed this final project proposal in one Microsoft Word document. Just please make sure to include the design brief and pseudocode in your Word document. Then submit this one document to the assignment submission area by Sunday night. All right, so that's really all that I wanted to cover for this week. Please spend some time thinking about your final project, plan it out well, so you can execute it without any surprises. So, thanks for watching, and please let me know if you have any questions. Take care, and bye for now.